last couple of weeks, so just took some time off just to kind of relax, readjust, get used to things, and just relax and all that good stuff. Also, I am redoing the episodes that I did on the last live just because that live kind of got messed up and there were long breaks and things were just going on during the live that that I just needed to delete and just reset, reprocess. So we're doing that. And then, hold on, let me take a look and see. And then also, in case you missed it, the ladies from the We're Not Done Yet podcast went live on Thursday. It was supposed to be on YouTube, however, they did have some issues, so they ended up doing a Zoom live. So that is recorded up on their channel. So that in the description box down below. So you can check that out. So that was just like a little cute 1 hour Q&A with okay, I think I'm back. That was a cute little show that Michelelee and Miss Donnamills did through Zoom, so that is uploaded on their YouTube channel. So I will link that down below, along with the link to their YouTube channel, as well as the de-Sac channel. Okay, it looks like this. So I will also link the circle and no escape in the cul-de-sac down below. And like I said before, we're going to be going over the last 2 episodes that I did again on the last live just because there was like a lot of breaks in between and it just was a lot going on that day. Also, I out my thoughts and prayers to the family friends of Miss Hayden Panettiere. I saw that last night. That was a shocker. And again, and it kind of ties into this episode that's dive into what Karen will be going through over the next couple of episodes. So again, if you need help, please reach out. There's always someone there if you need help with anything and all that good stuff. So again, my thoughts and prayers to the family and friends of Hayden Panettiere. And I apologize if I'm saying that name wrong. And my co-host should be here in a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and then if it if I end before she gets back, then that's great. If not, then that's good too. So we'll just go. So the first episode that is Money Talks. And we open with the cops on Gary's ranch. And that is what Diana is saying. And they are looking for Chip. So if you remember, previously Chip escaped from the hospital and Diana was happy, so they are looking for him. They're thinking maybe he will be on the ranch. Gary did call them because he does not want Chip there, so he's afraid that because Diana's there and the cops are also that he will come back to settle the score. Abby offers to have Diana go into town with her, however she declines. And I think at this point we don't know that Chip is on the ground. However, Diana does not want to go into town, but I think it's because Chip is already on the ranch. So again, Diana is lying to Abby, stating that she will never see him again and that she betrayed her husband and that they would be free if Diana never said anything. Abby tells her that she did the right thing, that they would always be running from the truth because of the fact that they would basically just be running away. So basically they're just running from the law. A real Bonnie and Clyde type of thing. Gary is with Morrison and he says that he might want to settle the score, so kind of like what I said before. Morrison wants police on the ranch at all times, however, Diana does not want them there. Morrison says that they are going to get him no matter what. Then he calls the men, and so basically Diana doesn't want Morrison there. She wants them to leave. She doesn't want to have anything to do with them. Mac has seen an old friend that he prosecuted and offers to get him out if he is willing to help him on a special assignment. The friend does not want to get involved. Mac tells him that he wants his help legally. Mac encourages him to help him out, and Mac will appoint him to his crime commission staff and tells him he is too good to be on the inside. So basically, this guy is incarcerated. Mac wants his help, so help him get out, basically. Abby is meeting restaurant saying that they bought out the management company and they can start developing. They have to get approval from the government to go to the cultural commission. Restaurant gets Abby to call Greg about getting a variance because she can call in a favor, and Greg is not happy. Karen barges into Abby's office and yelling at Abby about the fact that Diana is in danger, and Abby is upset. Abby says that Diana needs love and understanding and tells her to stay out of her office and out of her life, and Karen leaves. Laura and Gary are talking on the ranch and Kathy shows up. Laura says that they doubled the price. Laura is shocked that Kathy looks like Gigi, and Laura asks where, and Gary says it's honeymoon. Karen and Val is at the beach, and they are talking about living there because she misses her mom, and Karen is still going through a hard time. Val tells Karen that she scared him off. Karen tells Val that maybe she does not want wanted to work or that maybe she's getting too old, she tells her to go for it. So basically here she's talking about Ben and the fact that, Val is scared that she scared Ben off. Abby is getting information from her assistant when Greg comes in and yells at her for calling him about the Coastal Commission and tells him not to call him on the phone with that again. Greg considers them gifts, not bribes, and then tells her that he is not for sale. Then he kisses her. She then leaves him upstairs. So what? Abby's not even married, less than 24 hours, and she's already cheating on Gary? Come on. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Val is running on the beach, passing by Ben's house, and then she goes up there to leave him a note. She cannot decide to write what to write, however she's looking around. Ben returns home and sees Val leaving him a note, and Val does not know that he sees her, and so she walks away. Abby is taking this scene with Diana and tells her about the fact that she had a conversation with her mother, and Diana says that she's never going back again, never. Abby says that she is worried about their relationship and that she can never replace her mom, but she can stay there as long as she needs to work out her problems. Diana takes what she says to heart. So basically, Abby's telling her that she cannot replace her mom, but Diana can stay at the ranch for as long as she needs to at this point. Abby calls Sumner's headquarters and Karen answers. She hangs up. She calls again and Mac answers. Hangs up and then calls again and Greg answers and Abby asks him out. However, he tells her that he just made plans and they decide to go for drinks. Abby starts to sing and then decides to go see him at his hotel. So basically, Greg is going to his hotel to get fitted for a suit. Val arrives at Ben's to make dinner for him to make up for the previous dinner. Ben has to leave, and Val is happy about that because she does not want to cook in front of him. Ben tells her that she can reach him if she needs him. Greg is getting fitted for a suit, and Abby is watching him get measured, and she wants to talk to him about a meeting. Abby cannot wait and asks for a lift to her office. Kathy is exercising at the ranch and Gary is talking to her. Gary tells her that she needs it whenever she wants. Kathy asks if his marriage is in trouble. Gary tells her that he saw her and she said that she thought her ex sent him to spy on her. Kathy wants a little peace and quiet. Gary tells her that she can stay on the ranch for as long as she wants. Greg and Abby are talking and that she wants to see him tonight. Greg tells her that he cannot because he has plans. Greg tells her that this is not a game and that this is as far as I can take you, and then basically kicks Abby out of her car. Greg is at Mackenzie's talking about the fact that he hired Tom on his crime commission staff and telling him that he is stupid. Karen is having a hard time and Mac comes over and helps her while talking to Greg, and Mac is telling him that he needs to get the perspective from behind the bars, and Tom will help him with that. The doorbell rings and it's Greg's daughter who was waiting for him at the bus station or train station or whatever. However, Karen did not know, and she came in and gave a whole speech, surprised everyone. Greg introduces her to Mac and Karen. Which surprised me because I think this is where a little bit of a plot hole is going to come in, because I thought that Mac and Greg were best friends for like 20 plus years. How can Mac not know his daughter? And furthermore, how can Mac not know his wife? So that's like a plot twist, and we'll see that coming up later in season 5. Abby is frustrated at Greg and is taking it out on Gary. Tells him that all he does is walk around here all day and play cowboy. Val and Ben are finishing dinner, and he's talking about his past a bit more. Ben says his home is his sanctuary. Val says that she just barged right in. Ben is working on getting to know her, and Val wants to go home because it is getting late. Val leaves, and Ben says patient. Karen, Greg, and Mac are still working on the speech. Eric comes in late and asks about the girl on the couch. Mac says that she can stay here, however Karen is not sure about that. And Greg says that he does not have any accommodations for her. And Mac says that she can stay as long as she likes, as long as Mary Frances likes. Diana is sitting alone in the dark outside thinking about Chip, and Jerry is in bed while Abby is thinking about Greg. Ben is in bed thinking about Val, and she goes into his house and they spend the night together. Karen and Mac are talking about Mary Frances staying over and the fact that Mac was just being polite. However, Karen does have a lot on her plate and she is not sure if this is a good idea, and the fact that Greg should have made arrangements, that as well. So basically it's the next morning once Karen and Mac. Mary Frances came in and did not know where she was, and then she saw the family portraits. Eric comes in all dressed up and Karen introduces him, and she says that she slept over last night. Mary Frances is impressed with Mac, and Michael comes in and asks who Mary Frances is, and asks why Eric is so dressed up. Val is still asleep, and Ben does not tell her she does wake up and her up. She gives her and Abby are talking about the cell companies, and Abby is shocked that Laura knows about the company and the fact that Gary does not know. Laura wants money and wants to get a piece of her pockets, and Laura just loves secrets. Val and Ben are spending the day together, and they are on the beach. Val tells Ben that he should get a dog and says she would watch the dog for him. Ben tells Val that he is falling in love and he needs to be watched day and night. Gary signs paperwork and asks Laura to go for a ride with him on the horses, and Laura asks about Kathy and says that it is a bit odd. Gary says that the numbers scares him about whatever, and he asks about how Abby feels about all this, and she's not sure. Greg is giving an interview with reporters as Abby walks in and says she is returning his call. Abby asks if she makes Greg nervous. Abby simplifies what she wants. Abby wants Greg in the White House. She says money will win. As she has to choose between love and money, she says that money will win every time. Greg gives Abby a name on the Coastal Commission. So this becomes important over the next couple of episodes. Well, really over the last half of season 5 and to part of season 6. The Coastal Commission will become a big deal, and the variants will become a big deal. So I'm not sure. I can't remember if this is before Laura offered money for Karen to be bought out of Lotus Point or of the ownership with Abby. I can't remember if this is before that or after that. Hold on 1 second. So basically what we see here is that we're going to see the father-daughter relationship between Mary Frances and Greg, which is kind of a very complicated one. It sounds like that Mary Frances doesn't see Greg that often because of his campaigning. And then we see Karen falling more and more into the pain and the stress and the pills of it all. And again, like I said, if you need help, there is help. Please feel free to get help. My parents have hidden penitentiary, as there's some preliminary, there's some information that just came out a couple of hours ago about what caused the tragedy. So please seek out help. That's what that's why I'm saying that. Also, we see how much Mac loves Karen and how much he's going to support her, and then how much she's supporting him through this crime commission and just helping out with the campaign and all that. We see Eric being enchanted by Mary Frances, which is going to be interesting coming up. And then we see Abby being Abby, still trying to use, trying to get all she can out of Jerry's money, and then trying to divert money um, into Apple and Bonus Point. And then without Gary knowing, and then Laura's getting involved in that, which I think is kind of not good because I think that, with Laura getting involved, that's actually betraying a little bit of trust between Gary and Laura, which I think they had a really nice friendship, to start off with here, because they did have some rocky parts, but then after a while, Gary trusted Laura with, his business and all that stuff, and he hired her to help keep an eye on Abby because he was afraid of what Abby was going to do. So I think that that's going to be like a very interesting thing. So I'm just trying to find some scenes here. So I will go ahead and play this one. This is when Karen starts to bust into Abby's office. And again, this is in constitutes fair use policy.
Who would be food interruption? That's the kind of thing I'm doing. Excuse me, you can't just barge in here.
So when a mother is concerned about her daughter, there's like nothing that's gonna stop her, no matter what. People, things, places, nothing's gonna stop her if a mother is wanting to protect her daughter. So just keep that in mind as we're listening to this scene. Again, this is in Constitution's fair use policy.
I'm sorry, I've just had a very rude interruption. Could I call you back in a little while?
Yeah, get back to me in a little while. Great.
I asked her to wait. Karen, don't you ever walk into a room? Do you always have
My daughter's in danger. I want to know what you're doing
Your
for
daughter is not in danger. The police were
So here, Abby does not realize what the whole issue is between Diana and Chip and Karen. So Abby doesn't know that Chip is on the ranch, which I highly suspect that he's already on that ranch, no matter what. And again, this is in Constitution change policy.
ranch all and protecting her. We're protecting her.
What does that mean?
That means doing the best we can. Get my damn it! Let me remind you.
So again, Abby is starting to Karen about what's going on with Diana, which is a huge no-no. Again, this is in Constitution change policy.
She is where she is because you forced her into making the most serious mistake of her entire life, and you still think it's her fault, not yours. But what she needs right now is more than police protection. She needs love and understanding and trust, which is why she's at. I'm doing my best. In the meantime, get out of my office and stay out of my life. Because I don't like you.
God help you if your best isn't enough.
So there's no love lost there between Karen. I just love the fact that the actors are really good friends, you know. And again, I just love the friendship that Karen and Val have, and the fact that, you know, they always seem to be there for one another. I just started to rewatch season 4 through season 4 like over the weekend, and I'm already on season 6, you know, and we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, that's very interesting to see their friendship develop and where they're going. I do want to play this speech because this is a really funny speech. So again, this includes the features for use policy. Enjoy.
Solution to our problem. Just don't hire the guy. Get a life.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, I ought to have my head examined.
So this is Mary Frances coming in to give Greg a piece of her mind. Again, this includes the features for use policy.
I spent the entire trip from Sacramento thinking about you and me, about your world affairs and my junior proms, about your attack on poverty and mine on puberty, about your kitchen.
So I do have to say, like, I like this Mary Frances better than the later Mary Frances. I think she has more spunk. She's more aggressive. She's more needs to Greg more one-on-one than the other one did. Again, this is according to features for use policy.
Cabinets of mine. And I finally decided that in spite of all our differences that were really a lot alike, that I'm still a chip off the old block. But at the station for 2 hours.
And Greg is speechless. He's like, what in the world? I'm so proud of her. Again, this is according to features for use policy.
After being stood up again, I'd begun to wonder whether Pinky was an asset or a liability.
So why didn't you call?
So why did you remember?
A little food help.
You're lucky I'm hungry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So again, this is a big plot hole. Because again, how come Mac didn't know that Greg had a daughter nor that ever his wife? It was a huge plot hole. Again, this is according to features for use policy.
Who loved you?
I know.
It was a great speech.
I know.
Fantastic. We're getting ready to write another one. Maybe you can help. Oh, guys, I'd like you to meet the love of my life, my daughter, Mary Frances.
A chip off the old block.
Isn't she great?
So Greg is very proud of her, which I think is super cute. Happened with Mary Frances' speech, and we see that again. Karen's not so deep in her issue right now, but it is coming because she did say that, you know, near the end of that night, she did say that she was going to, that she shouldn't have taken that last pill and because she was trying to help them write their speech. And then at the end, Greg didn't make arrangements for his daughter. However, he has meetings the next day or something. So that's when Greg, you know, Mac offered for her to stay the night there. Which at first Karen wasn't sure of, but then to the next couple of episodes. Excuse me. Excuse me. So we see that. Trying to think if there's anything else. Again, we see the relationship starting to form between now and then. They're going to have a lot of ups and downs coming up. And the relationship kind of is, I want to say, just a little bit toxic. Just a little bit toxic because I think that Val is so in love with Gary. Abby's in love with Gary, but she's more in love with his money. Abby wants things from Greg, so she is spending more time with him. And again, Gary and Abby haven't been married for more than 5 minutes and she's already spending the night with another man? I mean, come on. That's ridiculous. And then we have Val and Lily May, or Lily May is still trying to deal with what's going on with Lily May being hospitalized right now. And then again, we have Mac and Tony one another. But have a tough time in season 5, and then they're gonna have another one in season 5, but at the end into season 6. And I'm watching those episodes again right now. I'm watching on episode 3 or 4 of season 6. So right now in those episodes they're kind of separated. So, and then that's one thing that, as always, is that they always find their way no matter what. So I think that's really sweet. And I did get all the way to season 12. I watched part of season 12, but then I wanted to get back to season 4. So I started season 4 all over again. So I don't know what it is. Maybe someone can let me know in the comment section below, what your favorite seasons are of Knotslanding, but anything past season 9, I just have a hard time getting to it. I don't know why, but that's just me. Oh, just in case I don't think I said this in the beginning, don't forget to do the YouTube thing, like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and then also don't forget I'm going to have the We're Not Done Yet podcast link down below, along with the live episode that they uploaded to YouTube. And again, they were hoping to do it live on YouTube, however, it just wasn't working out. So they did it another way, and then they recorded it and they uploaded it to their channel. So I will link that down in the comment section down below. And then also the CV Circle channel and the No Escaping the Cul-de-Sac channel will be linked down below, as well as my playlist. So go ahead, give them a follow, click on it, and all that good stuff. So now we are going to jump into episode 10, which is Homecoming. So we open up at the Mackenzies with Greg and his daughter fighting about lunch, and she is refusing to go because she wants to spend time alone with her father, and she is not going back until she gets her lunch with her fancy lunch with her father. Mac and Greg talk about it, and then Greg leaves for his meeting. Diana is drawing, and Abby comes out to talk to her and asks her to go to town with her, and Diana refuses. Diana then tries to go do something when she sees Gary and Kathy riding horses on the ranch. And then Gary and Kathy talk about Kathy's past and the fact that she has to go to work and she cannot stay. Then Gary offers her a job on the ranch. And then Kathy says no, but then she says yes. So again, I think this is where I'm thinking that Chip is on the ranch already. Mary Frances is cooking breakfast, and Karen tells her that she doesn't have to, that she's a guest. However, Mary Frances says that she cooks beautifully whenever she's angry. She is upset with her father. Mac tells her that she needs to be talking to her father. Mary Frances says that she's not going back to Sacramento, and that's that. Val was visiting her mother again, and she was happy to see her. Lily Mae did not talk all that much, and she wants to go back to work so that she can finish whatever she is crocheting. Laura, Abby, and Westman are talking about Lotus Point. And the suggestions, Abby sends Westmont without Laura, and they have a discussion about why she's going along with this plan. And Laura is getting jealous, and Abby is enjoying this fact. So basically, Laura is saying that Karen lost her husband. She's gotten like a new husband and the dealership, and then Gary's got all this money, and she just wants to take them apart. Greg is out to meet shady people, and they are talking about Knack and what Knack is doing. This is where we are learning more about Greg's character. Looks like that the backing Greg had is shady, and they want Knack to back off. Gary and Kathy are working out in this gym. Kathy are talking about Gary's life, and she tells him that the kind of music she likes. Then she finds CD records, and Gary sees it. Ben and Val are at the Mackenzies talking about what he is finding right now under the commission, and he says that it is independent of Greg's campaign, and Max says that he is for real. Ben apologizes and things are getting better. Abby walks in and sees Kathy and Gary exercising. Gary tells Abby that he hired Kathy, and she is not happy about it. Kathy says it is real stupid for her to do this. And Val and Ben are arguing about Knack. They are both talking about the fact that they are her dearest friends. Val is going to pick up Lily Mae and bring her home tomorrow. Ben starts to leave and they say goodbye. However, they end up going back upstairs. Karen and Knack are talking about Ben and that he thinks Ben is onto something. Knack is talking about organized crime. Karen is distracted and asks if Mary Frances can stay at the house, and Max says things are getting back to normal and tells her not to go make trouble for herself, and then he agrees to let her stay, and Karen is starting to put away dirty dishes. So the signs are there that things are starting to kind of trickle down a little bit with Karen and her issue that is coming up. Gary is helping Abby out of the pool, and they talk about Kathy because Abby is upset and she is scared about it. However, Gary says this is something that he has to do. Val is picking up Lily Mae because she is depressed at this time, and Val cannot stand her sitting like this. Oops. Lily Mae comes in and helps, gets her bags, and she is happy to get out. Greg and Abby spend the day together, and they start to argue about the coastal variants and that she will give him some acres of Lotus Point. Abby finds his sack as Mary Frances shows up and sees Abby. She knows what's happening. Gary and Kathy are spending the day together, and they go shopping. Kathy is worried about Abby, and Gary and Kathy try things on, or discuss it, and Kathy tries on clothes. Mary Frances and Eric are talking about her going away because she's upset. Mary Frances says that she likes boys and she will not go live with one. Mary Frances says that she will move in with a boy, and that will cause a scandal. Eric kisses Mary Frances as Greg walks in. Greg says that he does not make speeches with kids. Greg says that he is taking her home tomorrow, and she does not want to go home. Greg says that he will stay home with her for a week. Gary and Kathy are still shopping. Kathy comes out in the dress, and he likes it. However, it's very similar to one that Suju had. They bought a lot of stuff, and then he gets her a haircut. Val and Lily May return home, and Lily May has a bunch of questions for Val, and she says that there are a lot of changes because she moved things around. However, there really wasn't a lot of changes. Kathy is in the gym, puts on Suzu's records, and starts dancing with her red dress on, and Gary sees her, turns the lights off, and thinks they're Suzu. Laura arrives at the ranch and is upset with Gary and what he is doing right now, and now that Kathy. Laura tells Gary that she brought over the information. Gary says that he does not know what is going on and that he likes Kathy for Kathy and not for Suji. He gets a kick out of helping her because he wants to help someone without them getting hurt. Laura walks out. Kathy asks Laura if she's going to ruin this and that this makes her happy because no one has taken care of her like this and that Gary makes her feel like somebody. Kathy told Laura that she's not staying in the house. Karen and Mac talk about Mary Frances and the fact that Greg is taking her home tomorrow. Karen wants her to stay here with them, and Mac is not sure. Karen and Mac start fighting about it. Mac finally agrees and says that her father is taking her home tomorrow, and Mac said that he would let her stay, and he said, yes, I would. And then Karen falls asleep because she's starting to have issues with the pills. Mac tries to kiss her, but she does fall asleep. He tries to wake her up and he starts to see the problem that is developing as she's looking over her head and onto the nightstand and sees the open pill bottle. Karen is trying to, and it's the next day, Karen is trying to talk to Greg about letting Mary Frances to stay with them. However, they may miss the flight. Mac sent Greg a memo and it surprised him, and he told Greg that there were no surprises in the report. He wants to do more than prosecute. Greg says that no one expects him to clean up the streets in one day. Mary Frances kisses Eric goodbye. Lily May, Karen, and Val are out to lunch talking and shopping. Lily May is wanting to hear about all the gossip, and she asks about Diana, and makes Karen uncomfortable, and Karen takes another pill, and it catches Val's eyes, and they ask what it is she was taking, and Lily May tells her that she was on the same medicine at the hospital when she was getting treatment. Mac and the boys are going to dinner as Mary Frances shows up again, and she asks if she can stay with them again. Karen takes her back up to Diana's room. Mary Frances asks about Diana, and Diana isn't that having Chip on the ranch. She brought him food and asked him how is the chicken, and he said good. The end. So that's the end of episode 10. So again, we learned that Chip is actually already on the ranch. He probably was this whole time. Excuse me. And he is, excuse me. So again, we see the relationship between Greg and Mary Frances is kind of, I want to say, well, it is kind of toxic. Like, she wants his attention, but he's not giving it to her. She wants to spend some time with him. However, the campaign is taking up too much of his time, and she's not happy with that because it sounds like that Mary and all reality Mary Frances is a daddy's girl, and so she really wants to spend time with her dad. However, he's not making it any easier on her, and wanting to spend time with her. We see that Mac is wanting to spend some time with Karen. However, Karen is starting to fall is starting to take more and more pills, and we start seeing her develop a problem. And again, like I said, if you know someone who always there for you, no matter what, there's always someone there. There's 24-hour hotlines, depending on where you're at. Please seek help. And again, and I've said this a lot, and I'll say it again, prayers and thoughts to the friends and family of Hayden Penitentiary, as well as to anyone else who has lost a loved one due to that type of situation. So there's that. And then we see Eric trying to be there for Mary Frances after the whole Abby debacle. And again, Abby wants Greg to help her out with some stuff on the rise within the business world. So therefore, again, she hasn't been there in 48 hours, and she's already spending time with another man to get what she wants. She's already scheming. And again, I don't know. I think she does love Gary, but I think she loves his money more. And we'll see that play out throughout the rest of the episode. And also, I don't know what to make of Laura yet. Because, in the first couple of seasons, she was just kind of like shy, kind of in the background, kind of like, the stay-at-home mom who was kind of put on the back burner, being taken advantage of, and now that Richard is gone, she's starting to come into her own. However, she wants to be there for her friends, but she also wants to get a little bit of that piece of the pie, which I think is something that we all want, but she's going about it the wrong way, in my opinion. I think that, if she had gone back into real estate, maybe she could have done a lot better, but then she hooked up with Abby because of Gary. And again, she's double dealing, in my opinion, behind Gary's back, because she's trying to, and behind Karen's back too. So not only is she betraying one friend, but she's betraying two friends. So that's just kind of like, so frustrating, and all this going on while Karen is dealing with the stress of Diana and her pain from what happened with Lily Mae in the car accident. It's just kind of like it's all coming to a head for Karen. And then I love the relationship that has developed between Lily Mae and Val. I think that their relationship has come a long way. It has its quirky moments, which is quite funny. So I will say a little bit more of that come out. So I love that for them. And then again, I love the fact that Ben and Val are starting to develop their relationship. However, I think it's going to be a little bit of up and down, up and down, up and down. Because I think that the goal of the show is to get Gary and Val back together. However, that doesn't happen for quite a while. And I think that the way that they do it and the fact that they let it linger for so long is very difficult. And again, I'll say this about the show as well. Had they kept Sid on the show and Don Murray stayed, I don't think that they would have lasted as long as they did. I honestly think that either Don Murray would have had to leave later, or that the show would have been picked up. I think what really made the show last for as long as it did is the fact that they brought in William Devane and Kevin Dobson. I think that those two characters, because there was a lot that could be written around them, and the fact that they had this 20-year history within background, and so they could tie in a whole bunch of different things based off of that history. And we'll see more of that in season 8 or 9. We'll see a little bit more of that. So they bring into a whole nother perspective of that friendship, and they're able to write stories around it. And also, the moral compass of the show and the moral couple of the show is Karen and Mac, and they really do show that they go through hard times, like we're starting to see with Karen and her issue with pills. We're starting to see that develop a little bit, and the fact that Mac is just trying to be there for her, but he doesn't know how to handle it. And I think that the friendship between Val and Karen will help Mac see this coming up, which, like I said, I've already watched season 4 again, and I'm already on episode 3 of season 6. So I already know where this is going. So therefore, I think that, the relationship that Karen and Mac have is something that America was really craving at the time, because if I'm not mistaken, divorce was really on the rise. Cheating and swindling and all that was on the rise. And again, this show had the pulse on America. So we got the Betty Ford, we had all this stuff going on, and the DARE program coming into schools, and which I was a huge part of when back in the 80s when I was in elementary school. I even did a poem about it. I started outlined. It was very interesting. I was in 5th grade. I did it. So I'm very proponent of that program and any program to help alleviate that situation. I think because I know that given my situation and given everything that I've been through, that I could easily have fallen onto that path. And I just think my lucky stars that I never got to that point. Now, granted, I'm the type of person that I have such a high tolerance of pain that I could easily still fall into that, because nothing can touch my pain level at times, which is very, very scary for me. So therefore, I can kind of see where that's coming from. And I did do a substance abuse track with my MS students. So I don't know what happened. Hello? I wish my co-host was here. So I did do my substance abuse track when I was completing my MSW. So I do have that background with that, and again, we're still in that, and again, we do have a little bit more of that now going on, because pandemic, as you think about it, we had a lot of people staying at home, a lot of people going through some mental health challenges. So again, this show is very relatable, and the storyline that we're going into is very relatable to the post-pandemic and what we've all went through in 2020. So I'm a very huge proponent of getting the help that you all need, or that if you need it. Let me see things from this episode I want to play. Okay, volume down. Just bear with me as I'm finding some scenes to play. Alright, here, we'll play this scene. And again, this is in accordance with YouTube's fair use policy. So this is at the beginning of the episode. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
Day, you said.
Not the whole day.
Alone.
Mary Frances, it'll be lunch.
Yeah, but the wine is supposed to look great over Los Angeles.
I'm sorry, I just found out about it this morning.
I don't believe you.
Honey, I am in the
Recognizing some scenes that from when I watched last. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
campaign.
What else is new?
Listen, it'll be great. We'll get our pictures taken together. Maybe we'll end up on the 11 o'clock news. It'll be fun.
I don't want to have fun. I want to have my father.
She's pistol. Sometimes I would like to strangle her. I know what you mean. Look, if you want to talk about the...
So, again, I imagine that if my dad was still alive, that this would be something that he and I would have gone through my years because he and I were so much alike. That would have been hilarious. Alright, and again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
You don't have to do that. You're a guest.
Gosh, it seems a shame to be cooped up.
Scramble.
Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
Day like today.
You don't have to do that. You're a guest.
I cook beautifully when I'm angry. How do you like your eggs?
Scramble. I love having you.
So Mecca's just trying to let her know that it's time for you to go back to school so that you can get your studies going on. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
It's terrific. What about you? It's time to go back to school.
I'm not going back to Sacramento.
I don't blame you. Sacramento's a pit. And when have you been to Sacramento?
I don't mind being a prop when he's campaigning.
So again, she's just kind of airing out like her feelings. This is showing someone who's comfortable in the house and who's wanting to, helpful since she's going to be staying there. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
I don't mind seeing him once a week, but I'm tired of being stood up. I'm staying until I get my fancy lunch with him.
It's not like we don't have the room. Mary, I think you should be talking to your father about this.
Call his appointment secretary.
He's busy, honey. He's not doing it to hurt you.
My friends are down here. The kids I went to school with are down here.
Call his appointment secretary. That's funny. That his own daughter has to make an appointment to talk to him. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy.
My whole life is down here.
Past, present, and future. Hint, hint.
I'm going back from that.
So she's like, I'm not going back no matter what. Okay, I'm gonna mute this for a
It's time
minute.
to go back to school.
I'm gonna mute this for a minute because I want to say something. According to YouTube series policy, this is Karen and Mac talking in the kitchen. Well, a little bit of Ben and Val before that. Again, this is according to YouTube series policy. Oh, dang it.
Do you know what?
Commercial, sorry. So again, we see that whole relationship between Greg and Mary Frances, their dynamic. And again, I like this Mary Frances better than the one that came in later in the series. I think that the one that didn't have a lot of spunk, I think the way that they wrote that character was not very well written, but that's just my opinion. I would love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Alright, we're almost done with commercials. 10 seconds.
It's easy.
And again, this is
Myself,
going to
thank you very
teach you
much.
policy.
Now I feel so much better that my
Sorry,
case is
just to
secure.
end the commercial.
Ben's a good journalist. Thinks he's onto something. He's not quite sure what it is. I'll be damned if I'm gonna tell him, but he's...
So Mac is like really impressed with Ben, however, he's not going to give anything up until he's good and ready, which I think is important. Again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
Right. I am onto something. Tom Jezik is the link I need. I busted him for tax evasion. We knew at the time it was just the tip of the iceberg.
So Karen is, just to give you a little bit of context, Karen's doing the dishes, however, she's distracted. She's kind of half-hearted listening. I'm probably just thinking that maybe she's just kind of out of it due to the issue that's at hand. And again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
That's all we could get him on. These guys make organized crime look like a floating trap game. They're into everything. They're into price fixing on major developments, pension fund scams, the protection to contractors, anything to do with money. They're some of the city's most respected businessmen and attorneys. They're more organized than organized crime. I just get one of these guys, just one. Mr. Sumner will get his money's worth.
Do you think it's all right if Mary Frances stays here?
What?
So again, she's starting to be all over the place when she's talking to Mac about things. He says one word and it kind of sparks her attention about having Mary Frances stay with her. Again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
Oh, I'm sorry. You just mentioned Greg Sumner, and I thought that
Things are just getting back to normal. Just don't go creating more problems for yourself. Sure, what do I care? She can stay. As long as we keep an eye out for little Eric and her. He's such a great host. I've never seen him so eager to please.
Again,
Karen.
she's not really paying attention to what she's doing. Again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Putting dirty dishes away.
I'm getting senile.
That's the first sign.
So Mac is making a joke. That's the first sign of getting senile. But that's not her problem. Alright, and again, this is a little bit about,
I don't see why.
and again, this is a little bit of the conversation. Again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
I'm not staying in the house.
What else is he gonna do with her?
I don't see why he has to take her home.
What else is he gonna do with her?
Leave her here with us.
So Karen wants Mary Frances to stay, however, Greg is wanting to take her home. Again, this is according to teachers for this policy.
I think so.
Oh, why not? She seems comfortable here. The boys like her.
She's living in Diana's room.
So,
Not Diana.
what does this have to do with Diana? I'm not having her here to replace Diana. I mean, do you think she could?
I didn't say that was the only reason.
I want her here because of her, not because of me. I mean, she's a nice girl, Mac. I just want to help her.
So Karen just wants to help Mary Frances, which I think is, in her mind, I think that's what she wants to do. However, I think she's trying to help keep her mind off of Diana, not necessarily to replace Diana, but to help keep her mind off of Diana, which is two completely different things. Again, this is in accordance with teacher-trainee policy.
What makes you think she wants your help? She's got a mother.
Her mother is in Europe. Her father is campaigning from day to night. Her friends are in LA. What kind of a life do you think it is for her in Sacramento? I spent 3 days in Sacramento working for the no.
Hey, you made your point. You got a raw deal.
You wouldn't mind if she stayed.
No. Her father's taking her home tomorrow.
Well, if he weren't, I'd let her stay.
Yes. I would. Since when is it up to me?
Sorry, I just wanted to mute that for a second. I just had a phone call. Again, this is in accordance with teacher-trainee policy.
Mac.
Oh, commercial again. Sorry, y'all. So again, Karen gets away because they're gonna let Mary Frances stay as long as Greg doesn't end up taking her back. And the next couple of scenes and the next scene I play, we'll see what happens with that. Hey, co-host. Have you been watching in the background? Alright. And again, this is in accordance with teacher-trainee policy.
Get ahead of lead, Michigan.
Oh, I'm having so much fun.
So Lily, Mary, Karen, and Val are out to lunch. And again, this is in accordance with teacher-trainee policy.
You know how long it's been since I had a Napoleon or even a good cup of coffee? 34 days. I mean, 34 days. It seems more like 34 years. I swear, Karen, until you've been confined like that, you just never know how good it is to feel free. Mommy, you make it sound like you were just letting out a lemon word. You know what I miss more than anything? Privacy? Oh, no. She had her own room, and a very nice room it was. Gossip. 34 days of knowing what's going on and who's doing what to who. Mama.
So Lily Mae just wants to get all the juicy gossip, since she's been away. And again, this is in accordance with teacher-trainee policy.
You gonna fill me in or what? Valine only tells me the good thing.
Well, there's nothing to tell, really.
Oh, I bet. Now, how about Diana? Is she
Mama,
gonna...
I told you about Diana.
Yes, I know you told me that she's staying with Gary and Abby, but that's all you told me. Now, seriously. Have you talked to her? Is she coming home?
Not for the time.
So whenever, the one thing about Karen is when she's being asked about Diana, she gets uncomfortable, and then that's when she takes some more of her medicine. So I think that that's where the problem starts coming up, is the fact that she feels anxious, which I can see that, and she feels that she can't cope, so she takes a pill because on her pill bottle will run take as needed. So again, this is constitutes very policy.
Being, no, she's not.
But why? I mean, why is she so mad at you? It's Chip she ought to blame. And herself.
Mama, why don't you just...
Yes, herself. Well, I know that love is blind, but is it also deaf and dumb? I mean, he never loved her. Never. Doesn't she see that now?
Apparently not.
Oh, mothers and daughters, isn't it awful? Would you?
So as Karen is taking this pill, Val is looking at her like she's trying to see that there is something going on, there's something wrong. She's starting to recognize the signs that she saw with Gary creeping up. Again, this is constitutes very policy.
Would you like me to talk to her? I will if you think it'll help. Karen?
Well, I'll think about it, Lily Mae. Thank you.
Oh, you're taking Escalene. They had me on that at the sanitarium for a while.
So that's when Val realizes that the same medicine that her mama was on is the one that Karen is taking, and that's kind of scaring her a little bit because she saw what her mom was like when she was in the hospital. Again, this is constitutes very policy.
Michael, your jacket!
So this is the scene where I was talking about how when Greg was gonna um take Mary Frances back to Sacramento, and then that kind of gets followed up. Again, this is constitutes very policy.
Hey, where are we spinning?
35 yards.
Can't go to the baseball game without your dad. All right, football. Here. Around. Don't take it off.
Again, can you believe it? At the gate, we were boarding the airplane when an aide came running up to him and whispered something in his ear. Before he had a chance to say anything, I just looked at him and said, "See you around, Pop." I came here. I can stay, can I?
Sure.
Yeah, for as long as you'd like.
Well, what if Diana comes back?
I'll bunk with you, Mike.
From your mouth to God's ear.
Where you going?
Football game. You want to go?
No, thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
So Karen and Mary Frances are by themselves, and they're gonna go back up to Diana's room and get her things unpacked. Again, this is constitutes very policy.
Well, back to Diana's room.
Where is Diana?
She's staying with her aunt on the ranch.
Really? I can't think of any place I'd rather not be than a ranch.
I love ranch life. I love my ranch family. Okay, sorry about that. Did not mean to turn my camera on. Can you hear me? Okay, so I'm back. Hopefully it's a little bit better. So, with those couple of scenes, we saw that Mary Frances is still having issues with her father and the fact that he was supposed to take her back to Sacramento. However, that did not happen because he was supposed to spend the whole week with her, but because of his campaign, he couldn't get away to bring her back home. And then we'll learn a little bit more as to what happened after that once Greg's wife arrives and Mary Frances' mother. Um, So, again, like what I was saying before about Greg and Mary Frances' relationship is like it's very not toxic, but very difficult because you have a daughter who wants to be there to spend time with her father because she adores him. However, he does love his daughter, but does not take the time to really want to be there for her because of the campaign, and in turn, that causes issue. Hold on a second. Okay, so sorry about that. So I had a patient call regarding the bill, so I had to take care of that real quick. So what I was saying was, co-host is I was saying um that Greg and his daughter have had like a very difficult relationship, and it just, you know, it's very difficult. However, she's not going to let him get away with it. And then I did mention too that the actress that played his daughter and this season was a lot better than the one that played his daughter in the last couple in the uh, newer season from when I watched because I did get all the way up to season 12, and the actress that played his daughter was not as fiery as this actress was, in my opinion. Um, but I think that's all I have, because I do have to get some work sent over to one of my coworkers, so I am going to end this here. So please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Also, don't forget that I will link the We're Not Done Yet podcast along with their live that they did on Thursday, which is a Zoom recording that they had to do because the YouTube live was not working. So I will link that down below, as well as the CG Circle channel and the No Escaping the Cul-de-sac channel, and also my playlist. So those will all be linked down below. And again, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of the late great Miss Hayden Panettiere. Please, if you all need help, please feel free. There's always help out there. Please do not be afraid to ask for help. So, again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to tomorrow. Hopefully we can do this again tomorrow, alright? You guys have a great night. Bye!